Hello creative friends, this is Joy. I'm going to do a journal page today, and I'm going to do something that Jenna Belly did, where she took her supplies and made little pieces of paper and put on the little pieces of paper what supplies she had, and then depending on what she pulled out, that's what she ended up doing in that order. I found this quote as well that I want to eventually add to the page that I think kind of relates, and it says, celebrate your success and find humor in your failures. Don't take yourself so seriously. Loosen up and everyone around you will loosen up. Have fun and always show enthusiasm. When all else fails, put on a costume and sing a silly song. And I think that kind of relates to this because me and my granddaughter did this exercise here not too long ago, and when I pulled out the different pieces of paper, it was completely opposite to the way that I would have done a journal page, and ended up creating something that was very different than most of the journal pages that I've created. But we had so much fun doing it, and I will show you that at the end how that turned out. But let's get started and see how this one turns out. I'm anxious to see. So I'm going to pull out a piece of paper and see what it says. Okay, so this says collage. I like the beginnings of this one already. The last one had collage like fourth on the list, so I am going to collage some different pieces of paper down on this journal page that I've previously gessoed, and we'll see where we go from there. So I have just some different pieces of paper. Also have some pattern that I can put down. That's always fun. Pattern paper is like tissue paper, and yeah, we'll add some of that to the page too. That'll be fun. And let's see what else I can find here that we can add. Do have some regular tissue paper. Got some of the striped tissue paper. How about adding some of that? That'd be fun. And let's see, I kind of like to get something else. That looks like fun. Let's use that. Oh, some of that. I don't like the straight edges, so I always tear those off. So I always like to have the rough edges. I don't know. I think that it works better. And And of course, last but not least, book pages. I cannot seem to find my book pages at this moment, so let's just go with this so far. And we'll get these put down on the paper. So I'll show you how I do it, which I think might be similar to how other people are doing it out there now. Put a piece of wax paper so I don't get any of the pages underneath covered in gesso. I take some gesso and a brush, and I just use a cheap craft brush because you don't want to ruin any of your good brushes. And I just start, and you don't need a gessoed page if you're going to do collage. You can start with an ungessoed page, because by the time you get done putting down all this stuff, your page is going to end up being gessoed. So, and so I'm just going to, and if you want to be able to see a little more of the pattern, then you can water your gesso down a little bit. Okay, now that I've got this dried, and I did finally end up finding some different book pages that I did put down on here from a different book. I don't know what I did with the book pages I was using, but anyway, I found some different ones from a book on card games, and so I've got some, you know, things on here that's got cards. So I'm going to pick another one. Oop, I guess I'll go with that one, the one that fell out. And this is markers and pens. Okay, that's interesting. Markers and pens. I guess I can do some kind of doodling on here. with some markers or some paint pens maybe. Sure, let's do that. Okay, got some paint pens. I will, I guess, do some doodling with some paint pens. Let's see how this goes. This is new to me, which I guess is the point of this whole exercise, is to get out of your head on what you would normally do and try something different. So here we go. Let's try something different. Okay, let's see what the next thing is it tells us to do. Let's see. Oh, stamps. Alrighty. Let's get some stamps out, but I'm guessing eventually I'm gonna get some kind of paint or something, wet medium, so I am gonna have to go with some Stays On ink so that when it comes to putting something on top, it's not gonna smear everywhere. So let's see, what stamps do we want to put on this? I have a script stamp. Oh, here it is. That would be fun. I was using it earlier, so I'll do some of this on here. Usually, this is kind of backwards for me, because usually I will paint whatever colors and then come back with stamping on top. I can do some, see, I have this flourish. It's just a foam one. I can use some kind of a stays on ink with that. Let's see, colors do I want? Do I want to go with purple, blue, what? Let's try this one. Alright, not too many. I think that's probably good. Get too much going on here and it's just gonna be a mess. It already starting to look like a mess. Let's see, is that it? Could probably put a little bit of this on here. Let's see. Another foam stamp that I've had, and then this is just a little ink rubber stampede ink pad that I picked up somewhere. Put a little bit of that on there for a different pattern than that flourish. That'll work. Yeah, and that looks like a pretty good mess there that we got going. So let's try another one. Okay. Let's see what we got. Crayons, pencils, or pastels. Okay. Crayons, pencils, or pastels. I do have some watercolor crayons. This is carrot, I can't even pronounce it. Anyway, Stedler watercolor crayons, which I do like. They're pretty neat. And so I guess I'm just going to put some color on this page. Let's see. Other color. Do some pink. And then take a brush. Let's see. And activate the color. As you can see, it's very light. This is where it's good to make sure that the stuff that you're putting on your page is not something that's going to get reactivated with water, because this is where you start putting water on your page or a wet medium and it smears everything. So that's why it's always good to use. There you too wet right there. If you have previous layers that you use products that are not going to reactivate with water, unless of course you want the look, which can give you a completely different look and feel to the page. So this here just kind of gives the page some color and gets rid of the whiteness of the page. Let's see, do I want to add more or go with it like that? Not sure. I don't know. I think I'm just going to, I guess, go with it like that. Like I said, it adds some color to the page and gets rid of all of the whiteness to the page. So what I'm going to do now is stop and dry this again before, well, let's pick the next one and see if we need to dry this or not. Okay. Let's see what we got. Paint. Okay, now we've got paint. And with what we have on here, it's almost like, well, what are you going to do with paint, since it seems to be pretty well covered? But I think if we strategically use paint, I think we will be okay. I think also I want to do something that I learned from doing Life Book with Tim, and that is just sewing. Adding gesso to your page when you get a big mess like this, sometimes it helps to just roll around some gesso to kind of help tone it down and push everything in the background, so everything's not just so like stark out there. Yeah, I think it needs to be toned down a little bit, so let's try that first. Don't want to cover everything up that we've done. And this helps to add some interesting layers, so you see things peeking out and everything's not so there. Okay, now that we got that done, I think what I'm gonna do is add some paint. Let's see. Just add some paint around, maybe to the edges or something. Not sure if that makes it a bigger mess or what, but there you go. I think I am going to stop at that. And see what the last one is, because now we're down to the last piece of paper. Which I think that is the ephemera. Which, interestingly enough, it ends up being the last piece, but typically that's not the way it works. Before, I think I ended up with ephemera being the first thing, so that made it very, very interesting on what I did and how the page turned out. So I am going to figure out what ephemera I'm going to add to this page. I have my saying that I want to add, and so I want to make sure that I add something that kind of highlights my little quote here that I'm going to be adding to the page, and I got to figure out where I'm going to add it and what other ephemera I'm going to add to complete this page. So I'm going to pause it for now and see what I can come up with, and I will be back. Alrighty, I think I've kind of figured out what direction I'm going with this journal page. I pulled out some ephemera from my stash. I got a butterfly and this floral thing. And then I have some other things like a fan and some other little green, not sure what they are. They kind of look like flowers. This little tag that's got a little bird on it. These are all from K&C Company, and I like the edge on this card as well. And I found this. This is from a magazine, and then I like the number 3. All of these things are from K&C Company. I'm not exactly sure who puts this out, but I got a whole bunch of different numbers, and number 3 is my favorite number, and I kind of like the way it looked framing her. So this is what I'm going to go with. So I'm going to start putting all this stuff down and finishing this page up. And there you have it, a finished journal page using these, I don't know, not really prompts, but these little pieces of paper that has my different supplies on them, and pulling them out one by one and using them in whatever order I pulled them out. And I really, had fun making this. It's definitely interesting, not something that if, I had planned, it would have, this would have been, what I would have ended up doing, but it is definitely interesting, and I like the way it turned out. As I told you before, we did the same thing. I did the same thing with my granddaughter last time she was here, and this is the journal page I created then. And that particular time, I ended up pulling out pencil first, so I, drew like the bird and this cheetah and markers, and did the markers on them, and did a little bit of, markers up here, and like again did some patterns in there. And then I think is when after that I got collage, so I did some collage. And then I got the paint, put the paint on, and then I got the stamping. So it kind of went in a different order than I would normally use them, but I still think that this page too turned out interesting, and it was fun to do. So I hope you try this sometime, just get, make a list of your supplies, put them on a piece of paper, fold them up, put them in any kind of a container, and pull them out one by one, and just see, what you get, and play and have fun and create. And this was fun to do, and I plan on keeping these and doing this again sometime with my granddaughter, or maybe on another video, another journal page. I may do it again and see what order we get that in and what kind of page we end up with that at that time. But thank you for watching, and until next time, have a great weekend and happy creating. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.